Welcome back to Passionately Catholic. I am Anthony Digmann. Today we are going to be diving in more deeply into our series on sacred art. So this was probably back summer of 2023. I wanted to do some redecorating in my classroom at Beckman Catholic High School. And this particular statue, this particular image is one of the ones that I ended up settling upon. We have a plotter printer in our art department, so I had them print a 2x3 foot print of this one, horizontal print that is now in the front of my room. And I really appreciate this image, this statue of Saint Michael the Archangel, really for a number of reasons that I really want to dive into with you here. So this is a sculpture of Michael the Archangel, okay, one of the archangels. There are three who are named in sacred scripture. Of course, Michael, Raphael, and Gabriel, the messenger. And Saint Michael the Archangel is here, of course, and almost always is pictured with a sword, oftentimes with a shield, oftentimes with a demon beneath his feet that he has not maybe captured or has defeated in battle. Because Saint Michael the Archangel is the defender of, he's the general of God's armies. He's the defender of heaven. And the book of Revelation talks about Michael the Archangel defeating the dragon, the ancient serpent, Satan, and driving him out of heaven. So what I wanted in my classroom is I wanted some kind of masculine imagery of Michael the Archangel. So I was searching online, trying to find something that would be useful, and did a lot of searching of different images, different statues. And then this one came up, and this is real life, okay, real life statue. So the sculpture to Michael the Archangel is actually in the capital of Ukraine, Kyiv, okay? And there's some really interesting things related to this. I think that Saint Michael the Archangel is actually the patron saint of Kyiv and has a special dedication to the people of Ukraine. I think that you could definitely say that he is a defender. I find this really interesting because, especially considering the invasion of Ukraine by Russia, I think that personally, when I was watching this happen on the news, I was like, oh my, I really feared for the Ukrainian people. I said a lot of prayers right away when that invasion was taking place because, Russia is just enormous. It's this monolith. And I'm like, wow, how is Ukraine going to be able to withstand this, absolutely huge power of Russia without some help from Western European countries or other Western countries? And I was just amazed in the first several days of the battles that were going on, the war in Ukraine, the way that the Ukrainians were holding their ground. And it was months later that I encountered this statue of Michael the Archangel that's in the capital, in Kyiv, and again is the patron saint of the capital of Ukraine. And I thought to myself, wow, there's part of the answer, I think, is Michael the Archangel was really defending the Ukrainian people, and I have no doubt continues to defend them and really all of God's people, all of the faithful. He is the general of God's armies. And one of the things that I really appreciated about this particular image and why I settled on it is the gold and the way it's a bronze gold statue, and the way that the gold shows up in the light, the sunlight, I think is quite striking. This is, I think it was completed in 2002, so it's a little over 20 years old. And that gold is just illuminated by the sun. It just shines so brightly. I really appreciate how the shield has, the gold around the outside, and the gold makes a bit of a cross. Okay, very Christian image, of course. I like how the sword itself is not just a sword. It seems to have almost like fire, okay? Little tongues of fire on the sides of the sword are striking out, okay? So it's, and that fire, I think, is a bit like God's justice, okay? Or at least that's how I interpreted it in terms of this reflection on the Saint Michael the Archangel piece. And this particular image as well, I really like the way that the sky is so blue and there's, white clouds right behind it, and the realism of it, I think, is beautiful. But, with that sword, like these tongues of fire coming up with the sword, again, God's justice in a sense. And Michael being the defender of, or being the general of God's armies, he really is that figure who's going to bring God's justice, and if you notice Michael's face, he's not doing this out of wrath or out of anger or anything along those lines. It is really from God. It's out of love. Okay, it's God has dictated whatever he needs to do. So if it's God's will, Saint Michael is going to do those things, and in God's justice, those who rebel against him, Satan and the demons, need to be driven out of heaven, driven back into hell, and eventually at the end, when Jesus comes and conquers, this will be completed. And I just really like the way that they created the way that they portrayed really Saint Michael here. He has the halo around his head because he's a saint, right? Saint Michael. He also, if you zoom in, you can get a closer look at his face. Okay, the pupils actually have gold in them, which allows his eyes really to stand out. And I really enjoy that. Of course, you can see what looks like bird droppings, bird urine that's dripping down his face. This is a statue outside in the city of Kyiv, of course. His hair is highlighted with gold as well. When you look at the detail in the wings and the way that the gold highlights come into that, I find that just to be, just stunning. I really appreciate that as well. I'm going to go in a little bit closer on his body and look at his chest as well. You have a face, it looks like on here, and I can't really make that out. It'd be really interesting to get a deeper analysis of this particular statue, and I just don't have that research for you. I'm just taking in the statue as it is and what attracted me to it in the first place. But by the way, if you know more about the statue or you're willing to dive in deeper and do some more research on the statue, please comment below and give us some more information on whatever you find to be really striking in this image or from this statue, or if there's more information that you want to share with all of us, that would be wonderful. So please do that. But in the center of his breast, there is a face. I think it's probably actually a seraph, right? Because you have the wings that go down, and then there are wings, they look like angels' wings, going out to the right, and then a little bit of wings up above. So it's a bit of it in a cross pattern across his chest with the design, but sealed with a seraph, or maybe that's a cherubim, but I think it's a seraphim across his chest there. I really like that. What else do we have here? I like that he has this old school looking general, medieval, if you will. Maybe it's even a Roman style, his garments. I'd really like those. The embroidery, if you will, that's done in the gold down just above on his thighs. I really like that. It's just, I don't know. I'm just blown away by this, and maybe it's the guy in me. I don't know, but the masculine nature of Saint Michael the Archangel I find very inspiring. Oh, look! It looks like the angel that is on his the center of his breast is also possibly on the shield in this image. It looks like that's visible over there as well. But yeah, I really like that this is a strong masculine image of Michael the Archangel. It's not wimpy in any sense. It's also fairly realistic in terms of dimensions and sizes, not realistic in terms of the embroidery that's done with the gold, the embellishments, that are done with the gold, but that just makes the whole thing pop, I think, so much. I mean, maybe it looks gaudy to you, but just the way that they did all of the accents in gold, I really appreciate for sure. And again, back to the image on his face, that he's not, battling against demons and Satan, the dragon, from a place of revenge and anger or wrath, which would be one of the 7 deadly sins. Instead, Michael he has a sense of peace. There's a perfection and a justice and doing God's will in his demeanor here that I really appreciate. Being a father of 3 as well as being a high school teacher, there's definitely times that personally I have to deal with, need to discipline and deal with issues with my own children or students misbehaving and needing to call them out on it. And I find in my own masculinity that there's a disorderedness to how I discipline, that there are times where and probably it's part of my personality, I tend to jump forward more in anger right off the bat. If you know the temperaments, the 4 temperaments, I am a choleric or choleric, which that temperament tends to jump quickly to emotions. It's part of the reason why I'm probably passionately Catholic, but those passions can also lead to anger coming out a little bit more easily and a little bit more quickly. I also kind of get over things pretty fast too. I don't tend to hold grudges and stuff, but it comes on quick and it goes away quick. But it coming on quick is not in a state of, or it's not coming from a place of love all the time, or a place of authentic justice and encouraging others, or those who are under my care, my children, my students, encouraging them to grow in virtue from a place of love, from a place of authentic justice. Instead, it can just simply come from human emotion, and if you spend time with your own kids, you spend time as a teacher, you understand there are times when you're just fried, and emotionally and physically, you just don't have any more energy, and things are a bit raw, and your fuse is a bit short, and anger can come out. But here, the way that Michael is portrayed, I really appreciate it. It calls me out as a father, as a teacher. It calls me out to call people forward in justice and in love, and in God's will and God's goodness. So if you enjoyed this image, again, I'd love to hear some comments down below. Share some ideas if you want to do some more research on this beautiful statue of Michael the Archangel, which is in Independence Square in Kyiv, Ukraine. Saint Michael was well recognized by the Ukrainian people centuries ago as the patron of the city of Kyiv, of course. But actually, that was taken away when the Soviet Union took over Russia. They replaced the image of Michael with another image. And then when they established their independence, Michael came back. And here he is in Independence Square in Kyiv. And again, for all the reasons that I shared, I just love the statue. I really like having this in my classroom, up front, above my whiteboard. Hopefully you enjoyed this as well. Any insights that you have, or things that I missed, because I'm sure I missed absolute ton from this image or about the statue. If you want to provide some more images from other angles and stuff, I'd love to explore this image more with you. And I look forward to more what would these sacred art, right? These sacred art images, and doing an analysis of those, and even doing what's called a visio divina with you, and continuing with some more of these. So if you're looking forward to some more images and some more analysis, sacred image analysis, please be sure to subscribe. Thanks as always to all of our patrons who support everything that we do at Passionately Catholic, especially through Patreon, and those who are direct donors as well. You can reach out to me at anthonydigmann.com if you'd like to support what we do here as well. I wish you all God's blessings and peace. May God richly, abundantly bless you today and always, and I'll see you again in the next episode.